everyone and welcome back. Today we are seed starting some more winter hardy annuals. If you missed my first video, I did one last weekend and everything is moving off of the heat mat right now, and that means that I can seed start 5 more trays. Hopefully my feverfew will take off soon, and then in the middle of the week I can get something else in its place. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Christy. I am located in Massachusetts Zone 6A, and I am gearing up for next spring's harvest. Now, I missed this past spring as the area where I have my cut flower garden. We were waiting for some trees to get knocked down. I didn't start tilling until mid-April. And by the time I was all said and done, it was come May, by the time I was able to get some of my spaces put in place. I still am going to till one more area. Next year, I'm adding a new patch for my dahlias, so it'll free up some more space. But today it is all about those hardy annuals. I have 5 different things that I will be planting today, so let's get started. So this will be my first year prepping with winter hardy annuals, and if you would like to know what it is, it's basically an annual flower that will survive your winter and you will get earlier blooms come the spring. So my hardiness zone is 6A, so basically I want to find some seeds and flowers that can handle my cooler New England temperatures and can survive the snow, the sleet, the freezing rain, all of that. And some winters will be very mild, while others will get dumped with anything from 2 to 4 feet of snow. So with that being said, I need to find anything that can survive down to zone 6. So today I'm going to be planting Sweet Williams, Bachelor Buttons, and Snapdragons. So we have some Sweet Williams mix that I will have a whole tray of. I am going to be redoing my Snapdragons because I am not sure if it's just too humid in the room that I am having all of my seedlings germinate and underneath the grow lights, because they are getting just hit with dampening off. I don't know if it's because of the new seed starting mix. I'm making it my own and I haven't quite figured that out yet. That has also been drying out. I really do love the Espoma seed starting mix. I have had great success with that, and also Pro Mix. I didn't have any on hand, so I got a peat moss, a very fine peat moss, where I've been adding vermiculite and perlite to it. So I'm not sure if I'm just not adding enough vermiculite to it or what, but I'm hoping this time I am going to overseed, because that is just what I like to do, because in my last trays, I would just put 1 seed in per cell, and yeah, we're not doing too well. Whereas my Snapdragons that I got from Baker Creek and I started over a month ago, I overseeded those, and literally every single seed did totally fine. And I also made my own seed starting mix. So I don't know if it was just bad luck or if I'm just off with timing. So we're going to just overseed my Snapdragons today. And if you also watch other YouTubers, I really like Jessie from Bear Flower Farm. She mentioned when she bought Snapdragon plugs from Farmer Bailey's, they had anywhere from 2 to 3 seedlings per cell, and she still spaced them out 2 plugs, even if they had 2 or 3 seedlings in them. She didn't tease them apart, and she still put 2 in per 6 square inch with her netting. So if she's having some success with the overseeding from plugs that she bought, I think we'll be fine if we do it here at home. So my goal is to put 3 seeds per cell, and that way if one just doesn't make it, at least I have some backups. Now I got some seeds from Seedville USA. It's an Etsy seller. I had some luck with some of my perennial seeds that I got earlier in December when we did some winter sowing. So I figured, why not order some annuals from them. My Johnny seeds, again, I really think it's just my error. All of my Madam Butterflies, I had 6 of them out of 120 survive. So not so hot over here. Now, the reason I am starting these winter hardy annuals is because I am trying to open up my own roadside flower stand. It's not quite open yet. I'm hoping I can get it up within the next week or 2, but I've been doing a lot of research on cool flowers, especially this book by Lisa Mason Ziegler. I have been trying to figure out what I can get started right now in my hardiness zone. So I've been picking a few things and also starting to get like yarrow in right now, so it has a chance to perennialize for in the fall, to come back up in the spring. So today, again, we're doing the Snapdragons, Bachelor Buttons, and the Sweet Williams mix. So the first thing you need to know before you even pick out your seeds is what hardiness zone you are in. I just went on Google and typed in Hardiness Zone, put my zip code in, and it brought me to the Farmer's Almanac website. I put it right here below. And all you have to do is put in your zip code. It will tell you your first and last frost date and what hardiness zone you are in. So I need to find anything that, again, is zone 6A or just zone 6 in general. So that is going to be where you're starting off. Because if you want to do what I did and start some straw flower, but I believe I accidentally wrote zone 6 when it's actually 8. So I started 2 trays worth of straw flower. And yeah, it's just not going to survive my winters, but I might get lucky and get a really late fall harvest. There are lots of oranges and yellows, so that might work in with my fall bouquets. So fingers crossed I can still use them because those germinated beautifully, and I got those from Johnny's Seeds. I think it was like the seashell mix and apricot. So they might work with my fall bouquets, so we shall see. If not, maybe I can use them for drying and make some dried flower arrangements, so it's not a total loss. So again, very important for you to know what hardiness zone you are in. And if you check out the back of this book, you can also see the list, and it will tell you the winter hardiness zone. So I basically found anything that can go to a 6, or if it goes down to a 5 or a 4, it will also be included in my hardiness zone. I also want to apologize. My neighbors have a dirt bike back there, and they have a whole entire course, so you might be hearing that as well. So we might be competing with the dirt bike today, but it's a beautiful day, and I really wanted to do some seed starting outside. So now that you know what your hardiness zone is by going to the Farmer's Almanac, again, you want to know when your average first frost date is. That is going to tell you when you need to start transplanting, direct sowing, and seed starting. So for me, my average first frost date is going to be October 3rd. I also saw when I Googled it, it could be October 10th to 15th. I do remember the past 2 Halloweens. It was very warm in the 70s, but I just don't remember what the nighttime temperatures were. So I am going to just go with October 3rd as my average first frost date, and I'm counting back 6 to 8 weeks, and that is when I need to be able to either transplant my seedlings or start direct sowing. I plan on doing maybe some Bachelor Buttons depending on how everything goes, and definitely I will also be direct sowing Blue Plurum, as that does not like to be transplanted. So for me, that means between August 8th and August 22nd is when I will be transplanting my seedlings and or direct sowing. That will give you some time for your plants to germinate and be able to get their roots developed so they can survive your winters. So now that you know when you should be transplanting or direct sowing, if you plan on seed starting indoors, you also have to additionally backtrack 4 to 6 weeks on when you will be seed starting everything. So that means for me, between July 7th and August 10th, I want to be seed starting. It is July 19th today, so I'm right in the middle. I'm trying to get in all of my cool hardy annuals, and then I'll be working in some of my perennials that I hope to perennialize so they will come back up in the spring, such as like yarrow, and I do have some mint that I want to get going as well. I can't remember what else I have, but we have a lot, so that's all right. We're gonna get started with just the winter hardy annuals. And your time frame may vary compared to mine. If you live somewhere a little bit more further south, you might have an extended time before your first frost date comes. You can still maybe figure out and order your seeds. And then if you're in my area, we are kind of timing it super closely, so definitely get on it if you need to. Now, once you have everything transplanted come midsummer, I would say for me, you have a few tasks at hand. If you have any dry spells, you still want to make sure that your plants are well watered because they need to still survive the summer. And in the fall, you can also mulch lightly. I plan on just using some of the fallen leaves that we have. I do that in my garden beds behind me for my vegetables. Once I tear everything out, I will put a good thick layer of leaves. So I will be doing the same thing over my garden beds. It will also help me see where the pathway is too. Hopefully I can clear and put some fabric in between the paths for next year, so I'm not battling out those weeds. And it is also optional if you want to use row covers or not. You might want to put row covers on just to make sure that your seedlings do survive either the hot summer or when you're starting to get fall and it's starting to get cooler out, especially if you're planting very close to the time frame and you want to make sure that the roots are well developed and they're established before you hit winter time. However, I will not be using any row covers right now. It's just not in my budget to invest in something like that. I want to be able to see if I'm able to get them ready to go and survive my winter without using anything extra. And then for whatever reason, if I have a string of bad luck and they don't, maybe next year I'll add that into my budget and buy some fabric for them to survive that little bit of stretch when it can get a little bit cooler at night. And definitely check out Lisa's podcast. They do talk about what kind of row covers you can use if that is something that you prefer to use for your flowers. So just a quick little recap before we start seed starting today. My time to start seeds indoors is going to be between July 7th and August 10th. Again, today is July 19th. So we're getting right around there where I'm going to be cutting it close to a seed starting, but this should be pretty good. I might have another tray or two depending on how my Snapdragons go. And then also for me, August 8th to August 22nd is when I need to start transplanting out and when I need to either direct sow. You still will have to make sure you take a good, say, 7 to 10 days to harden off your transplants. You don't want to just chuck them in to the heat and this blazing sun, especially if your area gets sun all day. So I like to just maybe move them out for an hour or two in the morning, and then when I get home from work, and then I slowly will extend. I like to time it with the weekend. Say Friday will be maybe its first overnight or getting close to it. So the longer days I will be home, just to also make sure that they're getting well watered with the heat as well. So definitely check your forecast. If it's going to be just raining for a week, I don't suggest hardening them off. So that is also something you need to think about, is how long you want to take to harden off. I generally can get it between 5 and 7 days, but that is usually in the spring when it's cooler with this hot summer sun and the humidity. I might have to actually stretch it out to the 7 to 10 days. And then once fall is over and winter is coming, you're just gonna let nature do its thing. So again, with all the snow that we have, it's another reason why I don't want to do row covers. I work full time. I'm gone from 7:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. I come home and make dinner. I don't have time to be taking the row covers off if it ends up sleeting or freezing rain or if we get dumped with snow. So it's just not worth the hassle for me. But if you live in a different climate where you don't get too much snow, then it actually might work much better for you. And then in the spring, hopefully we'll be able to enjoy blooms 4 to 6 weeks earlier. Enough of that, let's get planting. I'm going to be starting seeds that I purchased from Seedville, USA. It's an Etsy seller. I purchased perennial seeds and had some very good results with germination. So I am going to be starting their orange Snapdragons. I have white Snapdragons, apple blossom Snapdragons. I have a Corona mix of Snapdragons, and then I also have mixed Sweet Williams as well. So we will be starting these 5. I do again plan on ordering some more seeds and doing maybe some more lavenders in the winter time. But this is just what I had on hand right now. I just placed a Johnny's order and I figured, you know what, I am still trying to save out and hope that Florette will also get some seeds in. So I just went with this route. It was like a flat rate shipping. Seeds were on sale, so I figured why not? And I have all of my tags ready to go. So I have this right here. I did all of my seed starting mix ahead of time. It is all pre-moistened. I will also top it off after I have all my seeds on with some vermiculite, and then I will use a spray bottle to spray everything in. So I'm gonna do the Corona mix first. Now, these are super tiny seeds, very tiny. And usually when I get them from, say, Johnny's or Swallowtail, it's in a different type of bag, and it's really easy just to tap them in. So we will do our best. I plan on purposely overseeding, basically to the fact that when I put just one per cell and they started to die off, I just want to make sure I have some backups, because it is just it's like a waste of space and it's just such a disappointment. So I'm going to get in close and I will just pinch it right here. I will tap my hand and try and aim for 2 to 3 seeds. If more comes in, totally fine. When I did my Baker Creek ones, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I probably had like 8 of them in there, and I plan on just teasing them apart, hopefully when I transplant them out. So at least I have those, but these are hopefully going to be for a fall harvest. We're still trying to learn the timing things, okay, everyone? So let's get to it. I'm gonna move this down so you can see and hope that my camera doesn't die. It's hot as heck, and I totally forgot to charge it, so let's get to it. All right, again, this is going to be the Corona mix. And you can also just pinch it, and if you want, just go for it. I have a feeling that I probably will end up overseeding so much that I'm gonna have some cells left, because let's just face it, that's just how it is. So I'm gonna start over here, and I really usually like the, I don't even know what it's called, actually. I'm gonna scooch it here just so it's a little bit easier. And I'm not sure how well I can, nope, it's not gonna happen, guys. It's not gonna happen. You know why? Because of the lip for the seal. All right, so I'm just going to put them in my hands, and we are going to just sprinkle. You can do the toothpick method as well. I just get very frustrated with the toothpick method because it gets so stuck on the toothpick, and then you pull up dirt. So you know what, we're just going to go for it. I will say though, it says there's 2,000 seeds, but I really think it's just measured with a little scooper, because some of my things, it said that I would get 100, and I think I counted like 60, but I only paid about $2.50 to $3, so you know what, I'm not going to complain. But I really don't think we're gonna make it all the way. I could be wrong though, but I can just feel them slipping. And as you can see, I am not a professional. This is just a hobby, and I'm just trying to make some extra money. I just love growing things. I love making bouquets. I always bring them to work. And I think it just makes people happy to have fresh flowers. So I am not in this for the profit. It's more of just some extra side money, just to buy some dirt and some seeds and the supplies that you need. Maybe to make someone's day a little bit brighter. All right, we're gonna be good. Oh, and I'm totally off camera. Sorry, guys. All right, we are going to spray these in with some vermiculite and call it a day on this tray. All right, so we're gonna do some vermiculite, and I just wanna let you know, I am sweating out here and I'm in the shade, and it's only like 85 degrees. So it says when you do Snapdragons to not cover. As you saw, the seeds are tiny, but I didn't have issues with them not germinating before. It was more of keeping them alive. I think my room just gets very humid. We leave it at 74 degrees. So I'm just going to put some vermiculite on just to help with that moisture. They will still be able to germinate even with the vermiculite. This is the very fine coarse one. And because I overseeded, something will pop up. I'd rather see if it was just my error of not putting vermiculite because I was in such a rush. And I hope that's all that was. All right, so we have our vermiculite down, and I'm going to just put these here. And with Snapdragons, I will be putting them on the heat mat, and I keep it around 65 to 70 degrees. I usually keep it around 70, but the room just gets warmer with the lights on too. So I just have my heat mat set to 68, but honestly, I feel like it only really comes on at nighttime when we have the AC pumping. So that might also be why. It's just the timing of everything. All right, everything looks good here. And here we go. We're gonna do some more. I'm just gonna speed round so you guys don't have to watch everything. So as I mentioned, everything will be going on a heat mat. I have a probe for my 4-foot one and one of my smaller ones. One heat mat I don't have a probe for. It's generally, I would say, around like 75, 78 degrees. So I usually keep that for things like sunflowers, my perennials. I'm still waiting on feverfew to pop up, so I might move that one there. I will use that one only if I am out of space. So for my Snapdragons, they say to keep your heat mat between 65 and 70 degrees. I usually keep around 68. It'll probably get up to 72 once the lights are on, because they do need light to germinate. I don't know off the top of my head with Sweet Williams. Sweet Williams says 60 to 70 degrees, surface sow as well. So I will probably do the same thing. I'll keep it at 68. It generally is around 62. And normally when I am seed starting in the winter time, I have the little vents closed to keep the moisture in. But since it's so warm, I gotta put up a video right now. This is my bedroom, and as you can see, the sun goes through those windows all day. Like, we see it from sun up to sundown. So it does get kind of humid in there. So with the cool flowers, they've been fine once they have germinated. My Snapdragons are growing beautifully. It is just, I feel like that starting phase, like the first, week or two, once they're popping up, they kind of get a little bit of that green fungus on top, or like, especially ones that I did not put my vermiculite on top. So it's just something to think about if you are seed starting. Maybe a basement would also be good if you need it to get a little bit warmer and less humid. So I'm gonna finish my Snapdragons, and then we'll get the Sweet Williams. And I also have Bachelor Buttons, and it says at 65 degrees or more. So again, we'll probably keep everything at 68 degrees. And then I got a ton of Bachelor's Buttons. I'm gonna try direct sowing these too, because if that goes well, then I will be able to skip this process next year. So the rest is speed round. I'll see you in a minute. So we're moving on to our Sweet Williams right now. This is just going to be a mix. I am out of the cells that go in here, the insert, but that's fine. I just use these 6-cell trays. I actually really like these, especially for anything that you don't want to get root bound. I use it a lot for zinnias. It's good for like sunflowers, your bigger things like squash and zucchini, peppers. This is really good for tomatoes. And I prefer the clear ones because then you can see the roots. So I am just going to line it with these. I'm gonna fill it with some seed starting mix, and we will just do the Sweet Williams in here. I might be doing another round of them. Again, I am waiting on my feverfew and Canterbury bells. Those are still on there as well. I'm going to also do some Bachelor Buttons as well. If I can tear these things apart, they're probably melted together. It's so dang hot outside. All right, so we have these that will go inside. You obviously can't get in as many. That is fine. And I can just do some more. Once those other ones come off, I will start the Bachelor Buttons and the Sweet Williams. So the Sweet Williams, you're going to surface sow, and the Bachelor Buttons, you're gonna do 1/4 of an inch deep. So I am going to fill these up, and then we'll get going. All right, now that is a wrap. We are done with all of our seed starting for this weekend. Hopefully my feverfew will germinate in the next few days, and then I'll just do another round of something one of these nights, because I just need to keep everything going. And please let me know in the comments if you are also trying out this technique where you're getting your winter hardy annuals seed started now in the dead of summer, which for me, this is a totally new concept, which is just crazy to think I'm gonna plant these out in August and then they'll be fine all winter, and then hopefully I'll get some beautiful blooms in the spring. Let me know what you're growing. I would love to hear if this method has worked for you, especially if you're in my zone 6, and even better if you're also in Massachusetts. And also, please go ahead and click like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and let me know if you are following along with this journey. Hopefully I can get that roadside flower stand up soon and show you the beautiful bouquets that we have been trying to get put together basically since this winter with our winter sowing method, seed starting all winter and spring long, getting everything out, sweating it out, and hopefully we'll get it up soon. I really hope that this is going to work for me because I just want to have those beautiful blooms in the spring and not take up too much of my seed starting space, especially since we have to get this vegetable garden going again next year. So until next time, happy gardening. Bye.